Welcome to Health 2660. Here we don't just talk about health, we tell the stories that heal. Now please listen to the story. Dr. Mark adjusted his tie, the knot feeling suddenly constricting. He hated conferences not for the knowledge they imparted. He genuinely craved that, but for the endless small talk and the forced bonhomie. At 48, he felt every year of his demanding career etched onto his face, a roadmap of sleepless nights and hurried meals. For 2 decades, he had poured himself into his practice, a beacon of hope for countless patients navigating the labyrinthine corridors of chronic illness. But the relentless pace had taken its toll. He knew it. He felt it in the constant thrum of anxiety beneath his ribs, the persistent tension in his shoulders, and the dull ache in his lower back that had become a permanent fixture. But there was always another patient, another crisis, another demand on his time. Self-care had become a forgotten luxury, a distant memory relegated to the dusty shelves of good intentions. He shifted uncomfortably in his polished leather shoes, the familiar pinch in his toes, a constant reminder of another neglected detail. For months, he had been plagued by a peculiar set of symptoms, minor annoyances that he had dismissed as the inevitable consequences of aging and occupational hazards. His feet were perpetually cold, even in the sweltering heat of summer. They swelled easily, especially after long hours on his feet, becoming puffy and uncomfortable like overstuffed sausages crammed into their casings. And then there were the cracks on his heels, deep fissures that stubbornly resisted all attempts at healing. He had tried everything: expensive creams, medicated lotions, even those ridiculous foot masks that promised miraculous results. Nothing seemed to work. He attributed it to dry skin, perhaps exacerbated by the closed shoes he was forced to wear at the clinic. He even considered it might be the water quality at his new house. He simply dismissed it as external factors, problems he would deal with, eventually. The functional medicine conference was different, though. It wasn't just another dry recitation of medical facts and figures. It was a deep dive into the interconnectedness of the body, a holistic exploration of the intricate web of relationships that governed health and well-being. He had come seeking answers not necessarily for himself, but for his patients. He was increasingly frustrated by the limitations of conventional medicine, the tendency to treat symptoms in isolation without addressing the underlying root causes. He wanted to offer them a more comprehensive and personalized approach to healing. The keynote speaker, a renowned expert in integrative medicine, was discussing the often overlooked role of the liver in systemic health. Dr. Eleanor Vance, a woman radiating vitality and intelligence, spoke with passion and conviction about the liver's multifaceted functions, its impact extending far beyond the simple detoxification processes he had learned about in medical school. She described the liver as a central processing unit, a master regulator of countless metabolic pathways, influencing everything from hormone balance to immune function. But it was when she started talking about microcirculation, the intricate network of tiny blood vessels that nourish the body's extremities, that Dr. Mark's ears perked up. Dr. Vance explained how a compromised liver could impair microcirculation, leading to cold hands and feet swelling and impaired wound healing. She elaborated on the liver's role in regulating lipid metabolism, the breakdown and utilization of fats, and how dysfunction in this area could contribute to the buildup of plaque in blood vessels, further hindering circulation. She then delved into the liver's influence on peripheral nerve health, explaining how liver damage could lead to nerve inflammation and damage manifesting as numbness, tingling, and pain in the extremities, a condition known as peripheral neuropathy. And finally, she addressed the liver's crucial role in glucose regulation, highlighting the link between liver dysfunction, insulin resistance, and the increased risk of developing type 2 diabetes, a condition that could wreak havoc on the body's circulatory system and nerve function. As Dr. Vance spoke, a chilling realization dawned on Dr. Mark. The symptoms she was describing, the cold feet, the swelling, the slow healing cracks, were all classic signs of compromised liver function and impaired microcirculation. He had been so busy treating other people's ailments that he had completely ignored the warning signs his own body was sending him. The irony was almost unbearable. He, a physician dedicated to healing, had neglected his own health to the point of jeopardizing his well-being. The lecture ended, and Dr. Mark found himself surrounded by colleagues, buzzing with excitement and intellectual curiosity. But he remained rooted to his spot, lost in contemplation. He needed to know more. He approached Dr. Vance after the session, his voice barely a whisper. "Dr. Vance," he began, "your lecture was incredibly insightful. I think I might be experiencing some of the symptoms you described. Could you recommend some resources for further investigation?" Dr. Vance smiled warmly. "Of course, Dr. Mark," he replied. "Dr. Mark? Mark Thompson." "Dr. Thompson," she said, her eyes twinkling. "I'd be happy to share some resources with you. But more importantly, I would encourage you to listen to your body. It's often the best diagnostician. And don't be afraid to seek help. Even doctors need doctors." Over the next few weeks, Dr. Mark embarked on a journey of self-discovery, a deep dive into the inner workings of his own body. He started with a comprehensive blood panel, ordering tests that he hadn't run on himself in years. The results were unsettling. His liver enzymes were slightly elevated, indicating mild inflammation. His fasting blood sugar was within the normal range, but his insulin levels were suspiciously high, suggesting insulin resistance, a condition where the body's cells become less responsive to insulin, requiring the pancreas to produce more and more to maintain normal blood sugar levels. He also checked his lipid panel. His triglycerides were elevated, and his HDL good cholesterol was lower than ideal. The pieces were starting to fall into place. He consulted with a functional medicine specialist, a colleague who had embraced the holistic approach to healing. After a thorough evaluation, including a detailed review of his medical history, lifestyle habits, and blood test results, the diagnosis was confirmed: mild fatty liver and insulin resistance. The specialist explained that these conditions were often interconnected, a vicious cycle of inflammation, metabolic dysfunction, and hormonal imbalances. He also pointed out that prolonged stress and irregular eating habits, two hallmarks of Dr. Mark's lifestyle, were major contributing factors. "Your liver is like a sponge," the specialist explained. "It's constantly working to filter toxins from your blood, but when it's overwhelmed by a constant barrage of processed foods, sugar, alcohol, and stress hormones, it becomes congested and inflamed. This impairs its ability to function properly, leading to fatty liver, insulin resistance, and a whole host of other problems." Dr. Mark felt a surge of anger directed at himself. He had spent years lecturing his patients about the importance of healthy lifestyle choices, yet he had completely neglected his own well-being. He had become a hypocrite, a physician who preached one thing and practiced another. But anger quickly gave way to resolve. He was determined to turn things around to reclaim his health and vitality. He started by overhauling his diet. He eliminated sugar and alcohol, completely two of the biggest offenders when it came to liver health. He drastically reduced his intake of processed foods, refined carbohydrates, and unhealthy fats. Instead, he focused on incorporating liver-supportive foods into his daily meals. He loaded up on cruciferous vegetables like broccoli, cauliflower, and Brussels sprouts, which are rich in compounds that help detoxify the liver. He added turmeric to his cooking, a potent anti-inflammatory spice with powerful antioxidant properties. He ate plenty of berries, packed with vitamins, minerals, and antioxidants that protect the liver from damage. And he made sure to include sources of omega-3 fatty acids in his diet, such as fatty fish, flax seeds, and chia seeds, which help reduce inflammation and improve lipid metabolism. He also made a conscious effort to manage his stress levels. He started practicing mindfulness meditation, spending just 15 minutes each day focusing on his breath and quieting his mind. He began exercising regularly, incorporating brisk walks, yoga, and strength training into his routine. He made it a point to prioritize sleep, aiming for at least 7 to 8 hours of restful sleep each night. And he started saying no to commitments that drained his energy and added unnecessary stress to his life. The changes weren't easy. There were craving setbacks and moments of weakness. But Dr. Mark persevered, driven by a newfound sense of purpose and a deep desire to heal himself from the inside out. He reminded himself that this wasn't just about improving his physical health. It was about reclaiming his life, his energy, and his passion for medicine. Slowly but surely, he began to see results. His energy levels soared. The constant thrum of anxiety beneath his ribs began to subside. The tension in his shoulders eased, and the dull ache in his lower back started to fade. But the most remarkable changes were in his feet. The coldness gradually disappeared. The swelling subsided, and the cracks on his heels began to heal, replaced by smooth, healthy skin. He even had to tighten his belt a notch or two, a welcome sign that he was shedding excess weight. 6 months later, Dr. Mark returned to the functional medicine specialist for a follow-up evaluation. The blood test results were remarkable. His liver enzymes were back within the normal range. His insulin levels had dropped significantly, indicating improved insulin sensitivity. His triglycerides were lower, and his HDL cholesterol had increased. His weight was down by 8 kilos. The specialist smiled. "You've done an incredible job, Dr. Thompson," he said. "Your liver has healed your insulin, resistance has resolved, and your overall health has improved dramatically. You're a living testament to the power of lifestyle medicine." Dr. Mark smiled back, a genuine smile that reached his eyes. He felt like a new man, reborn from the ashes of his former self. He had not only healed his body, but had also healed his soul. He had learned a valuable lesson, a lesson that he now shared with his patients. Never ignore small signs. Sometimes they are the warning bells from within. He also drastically altered his work-life balance. He began delegating tasks more effectively, trusting his staff to handle responsibilities that he had previously insisted on managing himself. He carved out dedicated time for himself each day, time for exercise, meditation, and relaxation. He started spending more time with his family, reconnecting with his wife and children in a way that he hadn't done in years. He even began incorporating functional medicine principles into his own practice, offering his patients a more comprehensive and personalized approach to healing. He started listening more intently to their stories, asking probing questions about their lifestyle habits, and exploring the root causes of their illnesses. He became a more compassionate and effective physician, empowered by his own personal transformation. One day, a new patient came to see him, a woman in her early 50s, complaining of fatigue, brain fog, and digestive issues. Dr. Mark listened patiently as she described her symptoms, asking detailed questions about her diet, lifestyle, and medical history. He noticed that her skin was pale and her eyes were slightly yellow, subtle signs that might have been missed by a less observant physician. He ordered a comprehensive blood panel, including liver function tests. The results revealed that she had advanced fatty liver disease, a condition that had gone undiagnosed for years. Dr. Mark gently explained the diagnosis to the patient, outlining a treatment plan that included dietary changes, lifestyle modifications, and targeted supplements to support liver health. He also shared his own personal story, inspiring her with hope and empowering her to take control of her health. The patient was deeply grateful. "Thank you, Dr. Thompson," she said, tears welling up in her eyes. "You've given me hope. I feel like I can finally heal." As Dr. Mark watched her leave, he felt a profound sense of satisfaction. He had come full circle from a physician neglecting his own health to a healer empowering others to reclaim their well-being. He had learned that true healing is not just about treating symptoms. It's about addressing the root causes of illness, restoring balance to the body, and empowering individuals to live their lives to the fullest. And it all started with a pair of cold, swollen feet and a few stubborn cracks on his heels, a seemingly insignificant warning sign that ultimately transformed his life and the lives of countless others. His journey didn't stop there. Driven by his experience, Dr. Mark became a passionate advocate for preventive medicine and lifestyle interventions. He started giving lectures and workshops on liver health, sharing his personal story, and empowering others to take proactive steps to protect their well-being. And so what began as a few strange symptoms in his feet had led Dr. Mark on a journey of complete transformation, not just in his body, but in his soul and his purpose as a healer. He had learned that the smallest signs, when listened to carefully, can reveal the deepest imbalances within. Today, Dr. Mark continues to guide his patients with empathy and wisdom, not only prescribing treatments, but helping them understand the power they hold within their own bodies. Because sometimes healing doesn't begin with medicine, it begins with awareness. And sometimes it's your own body that whispers first. You just have to listen. Health 2660. Thanks you for listening. We'll see you in the next video, and until then, be kind to yourself.